So you love the gym, right? But have you ever looked at the instructors and thought, what does it really take to do what they do? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on that exact journey, the structured path that turns a passion for fitness into a real certified profession.
You know, the difference is way bigger than you might think. It's not just about being able to lift a bit more or run a little faster. Nope. It's about having a deep, structured understanding of the human body and, crucially, knowing how to safely and effectively guide other people. And that's the expertise we're going to unpack right now.
To get to that pro level, it all comes down to mastering 3 core pillars. And we're not just talking about book smarts here. We're talking about the essential skills that every single top-tier instructor needs to know and be able to do day in and day out.
So, it all really boils down to these 3 learning outcomes. First, you've got to get the core concepts down cold. Then, you learn to apply all those techniques with perfect, safe form. And finally, you get the creative, strategic skill of designing personalized training programs that actually work. See? It's a complete journey from just knowing things to actually applying them.
And look, this isn't some quick weekend course. We're talking about a full-blown 14-week transformation. The whole journey is broken up into 4 distinct phases, and each one builds on the last, taking you step by step from the basics right up to total mastery.
You might think the journey starts with picking up a dumbbell, but you'd be wrong. It actually begins by building a solid professional foundation. Weeks 1 through 4 are all about instructor ethics, client communication, and yeah, even a little marketing. This stuff is so crucial because a great trainer isn't just an exercise expert, they're a trusted professional. Okay, now in Phase 2, it's time to get your hands dirty. From weeks 5 to 7, the focus shifts right onto the gym floor. You're going to master the equipment, learn how to conduct safety audits, and really dig into the core components of fitness. This is where all that theory starts to feel real. Then, in Phase 3, you kind of become part scientist, part detective. Weeks 8 to 11 are a super deep dive into assessment and applied physiology. You learn how to track progress, conduct proper fitness tests, and analyze all those key metrics, from muscle strength right down to body composition.
And it all leads up to this. Phase 4, mastery and application. In these final weeks, you're not just learning anymore, you're doing. You'll be designing full training programs from scratch, running micro-teaching sessions with your peers, and of course, taking your final practical evaluation. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
So after 14 weeks of all this intensive learning, how do you actually prove you've mastered it? Well, the philosophy behind the assessment is really specific, and it definitely favors one thing over another.
The approach here is simple, and it's all about prioritizing doing over just knowing stuff. Let me just show you what I mean with a single number.
70%. Just let that sink in for a second. 70%. But 70% of what exactly?
That's right. A massive 70% of your final grade comes directly from applied, hands-on, practical work. This course isn't about whether you can memorize a textbook, it's about proving you can stand on that gym floor and deliver real results.
And here's what that 70% looks like. 40% comes from a major individual assignment, and another 30% from a group project. That leaves only 30% for the traditional written tests. The message here couldn't be clearer. Practical application is absolutely king.
All right, so let's zoom out and bring this all together. What's the core philosophy, the big idea that's really driving this entire path of certification? It all comes down to finding this perfect balance between 2 types of excellence. On one side, you have your theoretical mastery. That's understanding the why. And on the other side, you've got practical excellence, which is all about proving you know the how. You need both.
And really, this is the ultimate goal, the whole point. It's about being able to seamlessly combine that deep knowledge with flawless execution, because at the end of the day, that is what allows you to safely and, most importantly, effectively instruct your future clients. So, with this clear, structured path from enthusiast to expert all laid out, the only question left isn't really a hypothetical one. It's for you. Are you ready to turn your passion into your profession?